Well, hello, everybody out there in Facebook land, TikTok world, YouTube, everywhere this is going to be going live and in charge at. Welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, and we are talking about rescue missions today. Because, why not? So, rescue missions. We have. What does that mean, rescue missions? Well, that means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And in this household, it means rescuing aminals. You know, we aren't so much rehabbers, but we do help rescue animals, especially if they're too little to be out on their own, if they are injured, and things of that nature. Like so far, with the girlfriend and I, we have rescued, let's see, a hawk, multiple turtles, snakes, um, possums, raccoons, and if it all goes well, we're going to try and rescue this little skunk, you know, and hopefully not get sprayed in the process. So, rescue missions, they come in different ways. And I already did that. I already found that. That note can go away. That was a previous note to find things that I used to work on a regular basis. And, but yes, rescue missions. What do you do to help with rescuing things in your life? So, here at 412 Productions, we talked about a little bit of everything from comic books to movies to science fiction movies, horror movies, comic book related movies, my artwork, the comic books and books that I'm working on, and things of that nature. And so, you know, that's what we do here. And then we also have a homestead. And so, rescuing animals is well, I say all the other ones that I talked about rescuing. We've also rescued, dogs, as well. Dump cases, and one of our main dogs is a dump case that hung around my parents' house that got dumped or was being neglected or whatever. So she was about 20 something pounds whenever we brought her home, and now she's about almost 80. She's trying to lose weight, but let her live her best life, right? And so she's a red nosed pit, and she's a great little dog. Can't say little at 70 pounds, but or almost 80 pounds. So, you know, but we do. That's what we do. If you have any kind of heart at all, you know, you will, help the animals. And some people don't like animals, and I get that. Some people are terrified of them, terrified of snakes and spiders and scorpions. And I have a black widow garden on the homestead, so you know they stay in their place, and we check them out periodically to make sure they're doing okay, and then we see, hey, they've moved on. Okay, cool. You know, but all of the animals, insects, and things like that, except for mosquitoes and flies, those can go away. I'm not going to rescue those. Those can go. Bye bye. See you later. Those never should have been on the ark in the first place. Um, that is, if you believe the Bible times and Noah's Ark and all that stuff. So, those little critters could have been left to the floodwaters and been done. That would have been cool. Oh, so with all that being said, um, we are at the end of June. Some people are saying, "Yay! I'm so happy that the end of June is happening." With 30 days in June, you see a lot of people that gripe about how long months are. Just like when January rolled around, some of the things being said about January were like, "Holy smokes! I'm glad this year is finally over." And they were talking about a month, you know, because for them it seemed like it went on forever. For me, I thought it lasted, the 31 days that it did, and it was cool, and it was like, I'm glad this year slowed down, you know, just because the past year in 2024, it seemed to just fly by, you know. At this point in time, it was already October, instead of June. And so I'm glad time has slowed down just a little bit. And maybe that's just because, you know, circumstances have changed, for me in just certain ways because as of October of 2023, when I walked away from my, you know, job at Wally World, I started this homestead journey and artwork full time. And at that point in time, I was still going to conventions and things like that. Well, this year, no conventions. It's a rebuild year, as you can tell, with the T-shirts and stuff like that we are introducing into the world. And I say that I can't find where I put them. Ah, there they are. So I've already got another one that's going to be on this list, and it's my Wonder Woman shirt. Um, but the last Ronin is going to be turned into a T-shirt, so you'll be seeing this on a shirt right here, right there, just like that. So just imagine that on a shirt, and you buying it. Right here, Chester Bennington on a shirt already. You can pick this up. My American Horror, based off the American Gothic painting of the 1930s, with Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. And my Bad Habits, my Naughty Nuns, right there. I'm looking forward to this shirt a lot. And I've got a Crow shirt that I'm going to roll out. The Wonder Woman shirt is going to roll out. And from there, I'm not sure. I've got a poll out there that I'm like looking for comments on to see. I'm not sure if it's on TikTok or not. I know it's on Facebook. So I'll have to get it rolled out on TikTok if I don't already, to figure out, what is going to be some of my next designs. Like I said, I've got the Crow coming out for sure. I've got the Wonder Woman coming out for sure, which is the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, the old original, not the Gal Gadot or any of the other variations therein. So I don't remember if I've got it on there or not. And if I don't, I'll put it on here. I've just got to wait for my computer to upload all of its stuff that it wants to. It did a update last night apparently, and it's about 98% there. Just hold on, it says. Just hold on. Just be a little bit right there. So, what are you guys up to today? I see a lot of people joining us today already. And what do you do? Do you drive by? Do you hit animals as you're driving by? You know, well, a lot of people do that, and I don't understand why you would swerve towards an animal instead of swerving away from an animal. Because you can obviously see if the animal is on the side of the road that it's there. But then you swerve towards it. It's just like some of the videos you see on Instagram or TikTok or any place like that that shows, people just being cruel to animals in general with no regard for their life. And, there's a certain place in hell for you. But, Well, good morning, Mr. Roy Joe Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt Bradley Twilight Jr. Welcome to the broadcast. You're only an hour late. But anyway. I'm kidding. No, normally I go live about 4:12 in the morning, and it is a day that I actually slept in a little bit because I didn't go to bed until about 1:30 in the morning as we were trying to rescue that baby skunk. And so we didn't get to bed till about 1:30 a.m. this morning. So, you know, got about, 5 hours worth of sleep last night. So there you go. And yes, Mr. Roy, this is the shirt that you purchased right there for the Dallas Cowboys. Even though it doesn't say Cowboys on it, it just says Dallas. They don't even have the star on the helmet, you know. And but it's still cool. It's a comfy shirt, and there you go. Um, so yeah, I'm rolling out some new shirts, and I'm looking forward to getting those going, as well as these other ones. And it all boils down to getting them all in house and having them readily available for your purchase. You know, but the way it's working right at this moment is people will put in their order. I will order the shirts and then grab the money. But generally, the way it is to work is that you pay the money up front and then I order the shirts because it's much easier that way. That way, I don't get stiffed with some shirts, those type things. So, because the only reason I say that is because I've been stiffed on artwork before. You start some artwork projects for people thinking they're going to pay, but they never do. So that's why I don't start a project until I get half payment up front, you know. And then once that happens, then I'll get the artwork started. And, then you can do all your changes that you really want to and things of that nature. And then we go from there. Because once at that point in time, you know, and the birds can go home, yes. And Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds is a great movie. I love that one. And so, you know, and and so when it comes to artwork and things like that, I'm into this 3D realm too. So I'm going to be learning about STL files. No, go Beagles. Okay, if you like the Beagles, that's cool. We do not say that name here. They are not a worthy team of any sort. So there you go. I'm glad they're trying to catch up on Super Bowl wins. Finally, after, you know, being in existence probably longer than Dallas has. I don't know when they were established because I don't follow them. No, they haven't. They're not a relevant team. Just watch their seasons. You can watch us win every year. It's just funny that our division has no consecutive conference winners, period, year after year. And Eagles fans are the best there when it comes to how violent they become, you know. And yeah, Super Bowls. Yeah, we've got 5 of them. You're finally trying to catch up. It's one of the good divisions in the NFL. I can't say it's the greatest. So just because, you know, year after year they slate one of us to make it, and then boom, something happens and nobody makes it. So okay, you can do that if you want, but you have only 2 Super Bowls, correct? That's what counts. 2 Super Bowls. And we've got multiple conference titles as well. So I could pull it all up and get you the historical data if you really want to, but I'm not going to do that. So you know, and And NFC East is a good division, but it's not the best division out there. You know, as historic value shows. So all the analytics are out there, Mr. Rick. So all of the be found, no matter what you do, Google will have it out there. So you know, so it's there if you really want to go that direction. It is out there, and Google has everything out there. So and so does Bing, and so does any other search engine, Firefox, or all those. Well, if you're talking about your team, there are no highlights. Oh, it's all good, man. That's how NFC East rolls. We don't like each other in the division, and the Giants are the worst, no matter what you do. And the little Giants is what they are. And wow. Oh, I don't watch football the last 20 years, 25 years. Oh, I've watched football since I was 5 years old. That would be 1976. So, and this has been my team since then, since I was 5 years old. And I do not root against them. I do not have any other teams. I do not favor any other teams. So there you go. And I watch football every season, preseason as well. And I follow all of my information for the Dallas Cowboys on a regular basis, as I have the apps for it. So there you go. As well as the other stuff where other NFC East people infiltrate Dallas Cowboy fan pages and try to relevate or um, make relevant their teams in our forums, which is kind of funny. But our name is in everybody's mouth, so it's kind of funny. No one can stop talking about the Dallas Cowboys, no matter what, even other football franchises. So there you go. Is it lagging? I don't see that. Let me see if I can switch that up just a minute right there. See if that'll help. So I can't admit that the Birds are the best team. I can't because they're our rivals. So they will never be the best team to me. So there you go. You can admit they are. So I can't because this is the best team to me. 100% every day, all day. I have a whole Dallas Cowboy room as well with autographs and everything else hanging in my house. So, there is no other affiliation. There is no other best team out there. So, you know, so enjoy your delusion. Because they will not be a repeater team yet again for the championship. So there you go. And just like I said, our division has never had a back to back division champion ever. So in the history of our division. So even when the Cardinals were there, you know. So there you go. I don't know if I'm still lagging or not. Hopefully you can still hear me out there. It's all goody good. All right, we are back, unfrozen. Good. Okay, cool. That's what we like to hear, being unfrozen, since Elsa is in the room. All right, so there we go. Okay, that's back up and running. All right, so if I don't have my video out here on TikTok, then you can go to my Facebook or my Instagram, and you'll be able to see the video of the new shirts that I'm asking for insight on, because I want to know which shirts you would like to see that I've got from my artwork designs out there. And I've got a whole video. It's about 5 minutes long. And like I said, the ones that are already there, that are in this one made the cut in there too, but it's already going to be made into a T-shirt. Is the last Ronin piece right here. And then the crow that's in that video is going to be made into a T-shirt for sure. And I'm sorry that the Lackers took a Razorback player in the 35th pick. I'm surprised you even knew that, since you don't watch the NBA draft. So, and that's the shortest draft in the history of drafts because it's only a 2-day draft, which is kind of weird with all the players that are out there and available. So, you know, um, because we took 3 players this year. One went to Sacramento, which I don't understand their draft, period. You know, how they pick a player to send to somebody, to send to another team. You know, because our first pick came from the Lackers. And he's a good player. He was an A+, pick for them. And for Oklahoma City Thunder. And so that was pretty cool. And I saw a historical fact on NBA yesterday. There's only 10 franchises that do not have a championship in their name. The Grizzlies being one, and the Pacifiers being another one. And they were this close to winning this year. But no, Oklahoma City Thunder won that title fair and square, and which was awesome. And they joined some historic greats when it comes to historic wins. Uh, and so Scott Foster saved that series. Are you talking about the referee? Here we go with the referees winning the season for somebody, winning the game for somebody. Oh, referees always get the bad rap. So, yeah, just because you think somebody tripped him, yeah, good job, Mr. Roy. Not the case, not the case. No, referees do make bad calls, but referees do make the right calls a lot of times. And just like in the NFL, I'm glad Oklahoma City won too, because that's my hometown area. So it's a kudos and it's a great testament. I was there when the Hornets rolled in and became the Oklahoma City Hornets. And then I was there whenever they bought the Supersonics and brought them to town. And the Supersonics already had 2 NBA championships under their belt. So before they became the Oklahoma City Thunder. And that was pretty cool to have them transformed and brought to Oklahoma City. And just showing that a city can maintain a professional level team is awesome in and of itself. And they're getting ready to get a bigger arena as well that holds more seating than the 18,000 seats that the Paycom building does now. So that'll be pretty cool. They were relatively for the Chiefs, last year. And it seems like many years because, they wanted that three-peat 100%. And just proves that it can't happen. So, and like you said, the Birds prevailed this year. Yeah, they paid the refs more than anybody else for that series. So, if you want to call them that, I mean, everybody's got their dynasties. You had the the Patriots of the 2000s. You had the Dallas of the 90s. And you got the Chiefs of the mid 2000s. And all that good stuff. The late 2000s, I guess. So, and I mean, at least the Dallas Cowboys put Tom Brady on the couch. You know, by destroying the Tampa Bay Buccaneers whenever he played for them. So there you go. We know you are. We know you are, Roy. But it's all fun and games. It's all fun and games. Yep, we play them pretty close to the season opener. It'll be a good game, no matter what. Where are we at here? All right, so T-shirt designages. My artwork on T-shirts. You already saw the ones that I brought up already, which are the four that I have in my hands, and then the Joker is already one of them. Now, my second Joker, which was actually my first Joker, is actually going to be uh, turned into a T-shirt as well. Where are we at here? Shirt. So I've got 24 possible designs because, like I said, the turtles are already getting turned into one. And then I've got Art the Clown. I've got Bishop from Marvel Comics. I've got I have them done outside of house. I do have a heat press and all that stuff. I just haven't got the DTFs or anything like that. I want to get a DTG, direct to garment printer, but those suckers are expensive, about $16,000 for some, you know. And I ain't got that kind of capital hanging around over my head at this point in time. And you know, that's what this shirt was printed on that Roy picked up because you can tell as you look at it, you can see the print lines that go through it if you really look. And it's it's a cool shirt, but they should have put the star on the helmet. And that's what I really want to do is get a DTG. So, oh yeah, 100%. Not really. Anything that says the Beagles on it is not a good looking shirt. I'm sorry. Especially that old school looking Beagle that they've got flying. It's pretty tacky looking. The star is much better. Just like my truck shows, because it's Dallas Cowboy colors. It's got Dallas Cowboy everything on it. And Kelly Green is only good if you're painting a forest scene. That's it. And that's the only way I use Kelly Green is in a forest scene. Now, if somebody commissions me to do a Beagles piece, I will do it, but I'll have like Micah Parsons destroying the quarterback or something like that. So even though, Mr. Hurt, getting hurt, all that good stuff, he played for Oklahoma after Alabama. So, and he couldn't win the national title there either. And couldn't win the Heisman. But, he was still a decent player for us at OU since I am an Oklahoma fan. Yeah, no, I get that. No, Micah Parsons, where did he go? Where did you go, buddy? Oh, there you are. Mr. Micah Parsons in the best uniform out there and autographed. Yes, right there. Bum, bum, bum. Gotta get that glare off. This is his rookie card by Panini, and it's awesome. But yes, one of the best, greatest young talents out there, and will be with us for a very long time once we get his contract straightened out. So, which they should have already paid him, you know, and Deron Bland. They should have already paid both of those players. But we'll see. Those contracts are always. No, he doesn't. He definitely does not want to be a Beagle ever in his life. He wants to retire a Dallas Cowboy forever, and that's where he wants to be. He's already stated that in his rookie seasons that he wants to remain a Dallas Cowboy for the remainder of his life, which I don't blame him. So, good morning, Mr. Tadicus. How did your show go? I haven't asked you that yet, but here you are live with me. So, no, he doesn't. That was a joke, Mr. Adam. If you actually follow what was going on with that whole thing, there he was making a dig so that he could get his contract negotiation faster. And so, and uh, and so, You gotta follow the whole scenario. But yes, Mr. Taticus, Tattoo Johnson, Jackson, everybody out there, what did your show do? I haven't asked you that. So, how did your show turn out? Your romping, stomping, good time show. It went well. Definitely going to put some more stuff together for the local music scene. Awesome. That's awesome, dude. Because it's always awesome to get more local stuff going in your areas. And Mr. Taticus here is a go getter, and he's doing great things in the community as well as giving great tattoos. So if you are in the Fort Smith, Arkansas area, you can go visit him at Into Ink and check him out and check out everybody else at the shop. But he's doing a lot of great things. Does a lot of great tattoos. I can't say good tattoos, but great tattoos. And like he said, he's got a whole wall of stuff that he wants to put on people. So get over there and get some ink therapy. Because that's what everybody needs in their life, a little ink therapy. Just like the the command skins. I don't know how you guys transition all that. And the Beagles fans, they want some Dallas Cowboy ink on their bodies. So, right now I'm booking the last 2 weeks of July. And yes, everybody's got controversy over the command skins right there because you don't know which one you want to say. The Redskins commanders, go from, the indigenous people to the people that conquered them, that make sense. So, but now he's booking for the last 2 weeks of July, which is awesome. That means he's already booked out until then, and so that's when his next openings are. And I never thought of it that way. No, I mean it's just weird to me that you go from one extreme to the other. So and but I mean the thing is, if you're gonna change that team and have to change its name, then change every other derogatory school name out there, including colleges. So, yes, welcome to 2025 America. Trust me, I know this is nothing like the world that I grew up in the 70s and 80s and even the early 90s. So, most of these young pups of today that were born, for this cancel culture shit, they would not have survived my era. So, at all. So, they would have lost their damn minds. I mean, just think if they had some time travel and went back and saw actually some of the stuff that we actually did, you know, coming home from school and then doing our homework, and then our parents aren't even home yet, so we're opening up the house ourselves, getting our own food, you know, and I mean, and we're talking like 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids doing this stuff, and most of these kids, the only thing that they know is oh this I gotta update. I gotta play this game. I've gotta. Oh wait, hold on. I gotta scroll. Oh, I gotta swipe right. Gotta swipe left to see if they actually like me and see if we connect. Oh, those type things. And it's just like, oh my lord, get off your damn phone, get outside, and do something with your life. Imagine those kids having to tell time by the sun and streetlights. Yeah, they would not make it because most people are like, "Oh, the time is now. Okay, cool." Or, "Hey, such and such on your phone, whichever one you have. What time is it?" And it reads it to you. You know, and it's just like, "Oh, I need you to read me a story now. So, open up my audiobook and read me a story." and, and so, I don't know. I don't know how this generation even survives. To be honest. Now there are some that are functioning adults. Taticus, I cannot fault you if you're still here because you are a functioning adult. You know how to do things. But some of these other people out here, oh my lord. Um, And, you know, we do have a lot of new shirts rolling out. And like I said, I've got 24 more designs that I will be putting on here if I did not put on here already, um, that I want input on. I want to know your thoughts on what should be the next shirt uh, to roll out. Like I said, Wonder Woman, already got an order for that one going through. The Crow is definitely going to be one because it's a grand design by myself. And then I've got a bunch of other ones, like I said. Um, and once I get that video over here, if I haven't already, then um, then you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. And that is the whole joy to it in and of itself. I am going to be doing some recordings for Antarctic Press as well. The comic company, Antarctic Press with Ben Dunn, has graciously allowed me and several others, not just me, but several others, to give raw reviews of their comic books. And I've got two to review right now, plus a third one will be dropping today. So I will be doing recordings probably tomorrow on my day that I do not go live. And from that point, I will be able to catch up on all of these comic reviews because they're pretty cool, especially the Tibby and her time traveling psychedelic mushrooms. That one's a pretty fun one. So stay tuned to my YouTube channel for that one. That's where those videos go. I send him a link. He sends it out to the masses, and his following goes out there and watches. So you guys can too. You can also follow me on all of my other social medias. Like, share, and follow here as well. But up here on TikTok only, not Facebook or YouTube, but right here, you can find my social medias underneath my website, right there underneath my 412 Productions, the Art of Monty Anderson logo, which is my alien logo. And once you're in there on my website, you'll be able to see it because you'll be able to see directly underneath that has all of my socials from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you're here on TikTok. So welcome to 412 Productions. I am Monty Anderson, your host here. And we talk about a little bit of everything from sports to comic books to real life scenarios that people wouldn't survive in the 70s or 80s or even the 60s, you know, because these are days that we didn't even lock our doors at all, period. I mean, hell, we had the screen door open, the front door open, the screen door up, wind blowing through the house from the coolness of the mornings and the evenings and the overnights. The windows were open, and we didn't worry about people walking into our houses or breaking into our houses back then, you know. And but nowadays everything is like quadruple locked and security cameras on every corner, all that good stuff. And you know, some people have pew pews handy. Some people have swashbuckling designs handy. You walk into my house, you're screwed. Just saying. Because I have about 5 different items readily available on the nightstand or in the nightstand or next to the uh, mattress. So, you know, and and just like some of those memes or some of the TikToks that I see, why would I call 911 if somebody breaks into my house? Then they would know you're there. Yes, 100%. And I've got several, being ex-military, and I just, I mean, hell, my concealed carry is a 45, so you know, it's not so concealed, is it? It's a 1911 uh, and a Ruger, and so it's pretty sweet. But yeah, that's what I carry on a regular basis, and then of course my rifles and all that good stuff. So it's always fun. It's always good. But I haven't had any problems. Haven't had any issues. Nobody, sneaks around my property. And where are you at? What state are you in? I only got it because just to carry different state to state. I'm getting some sleep, buddy. Everyone on here, have a great rest of your day. Well, goodbye, Mr. Roy Joe. Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt, Bradley Twilight Jr. Maryland, Baltimore. Okay. I've got some friends up in that area. Oh, I'm actually seeing you, love and found where you can see my comments. Well, hi, Cassandra. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. Cassie, what's going on? Welcome to the broadcast booth. But yes, we are going to be rolling out a lot of new shirts. I'm not saying a lot. Yes, I know Cassie. I saw the last name and I'm like, I know that person. But yes, I've got some friends up in that area as well that still work for the Wally World over in that area, and they are asset protection as well, like I was, which is that those creepy people that follow people around the stores that are shoplifting, and then call the police and have them ready. And so I did that for nearly 10 years before they pissed me off finally, and I dropped my letter of resignation and all my equipment on their desk and was like, "Peace out. I'm done with you guys." And so there you go. But yeah, several friends in that Maryland area actually. And but yes, I've got 24. It says 25 in my folder, but I've got 20. But it's actually 23 that's going to be needing to be turned into shirts. And I'm not going to do all 23, but um, they will be several of these turned into shirts. And like I said, I will get them on TikTok. I've got them on Facebook and I've got them on Instagram already. And I just need input onto which ones you would like to see turned into shirts. Next, because we've got the Bad Habits, which is my Nun series, right here. We got the American Horror, right there. We've got Chester Bennington. This one sold a lot of prints. It never sold the original, but the prints sold like crazy. And then, of course, The Last Ronin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will be turned into a shirt as well. And then off of this list up here is The Crow and the Joker #1 will both be turned into shirts over there. So that is the input I'm looking for once I get that over here. And oh, welcome back, Roy. I thought you were going to bed. So, but I do look forward to seeing what input people would like to see as a shirt. Because it's always interesting to me which ones people actually decide on. Most likely, Dexter will be turned into a shirt, um, and I'm trying to decide which one's next. I've already got a vote for Howard the Duck and the Crow, because Howard the Duck is just fun. And then I'm sure there'll be some manga fans that will chime in eventually. Uh, Manga and anime fans with my, One Piece and Demon Slayer and stuff like that. So I'm always interested as to what people are drawn to the most when it comes to artwork, uh, especially my artwork. And I haven't seen you. I don't have any Naruto. I do have Demon Slayer, and I've got One Piece. I've got a Monkey D piece. I've got a Mitsuri piece, and I've got a Inosuke piece. Those are the three mangas that I chose from over there. I also have a Gengar from Pokemon. From Pokemon. Crow, not Grow. I was trying to figure that out for a second. And it was just like, well, maybe I'm not looking at something right. But no, no, the Crow is an awesome piece, 100%. And it turned out really sweet because I did an homage to James O'Barr in there as well. So, and Gengar, that one was a piece I did for my nephew. He commissioned it, and and it looks pretty killer as well. So, like I said, if you go to my Facebook, Cassie, you can actually see the video there on it, and you can actually see the ones that I'm talking about. But I'm gonna try and get that on here because I'm kind of surprised I didn't put it on here already. Uh, just because hey, this is where people see it too. But I thought I did, but I'm not 100% sure. I my brain would, I'm doing so many different things on a regular basis that sometimes I forget to post in certain areas. But I appreciate you being here. She Cassie's a great person. She supports all the artists that she likes, and we try to support her too. Because like today, I will be ordering her comic book cover from Legacy Comics that she had produced out there, which is pretty cool. A bloody crow out there, and yes, it is Kermit the Frog behind me, done by the one and only Guy Gilchrist, and he's an awesome dude. He is the only named artist to work with Jim Henson for all of his design work. I met him at a comic book convention. He was actually sitting right next to me at a comic show, and we got to chit chatting for most of the show, and it got to become, I can't say friends because we didn't exchange numbers or anything like that, but I did. How I got that piece, that Kermit the Frog piece, um, was I had an old cheese box, a wooden cheese box, and I drew the Dark Crystal all over this cheese box. While we were at the show, and he went to do a panel, and I put it over in his spot and actually handed it to the woman that was at the table for him. I said, "This is for him. He's a great dude." And she was like, "Oh, sweet, he'll love this." And once he did get back, he checked it out, looked it over, and he was pretty impressed with it. And then later on that day, he hands me this Kermit the Frog, and which I was not expecting at all, and it was pretty cool exchange of artworks between artists, him being a big name, and and then me being this guy that has been going to comic book conventions since 2017. That's not out in the industry, if you will, and for him to just be like, "Here you go." And then again, we chit chatted over some things because I was drawing a baby Hellboy at the time, and and it was kind of funny because he just kind of patted me on the shoulder and shook his head because that's not the type of stuff that he works on a regular basis. So Hellboy or anything like that. And so he thought it was a cute little Hellboy. So that's my story of Guy Gilchrist sitting next to me at a convention. I can't remember exactly which comic book convention it was, but it was very cool, you know. And he's not the only artist that has stopped and or actor that stopped and checked out my booth and stuff like that at shows. Because we were in Bastrop, Texas, and so you had a bunch of actors there, and they were all stopping in, checking my booth out, especially whenever the panels were going on. And then they would sit there and talk about some of my artwork, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that I know a guy, another actor that would love that Reanimator piece because he's a huge fan of Reanimator and the actor from Reanimator." And then they would chit chat back and forth and so on and so forth, and it was very cool. It was very very cool times, and I'm looking forward to get back into it in 2026. I can't say that it's going to go successfully right off the bat because I'm still in the process of getting everything I need, like the table covers and new backdrops and new banners and things like that. So, and I'm actually really just looking forward to the table cover, that's got my logo on it and all that good stuff. So, that's what I'm looking forward to the most is that table cover because banners, yeah, they're good and all, but once they're shoved in the back of your booth, people don't see those, and then it covers up some of your artwork and things like that. Now, if you've got an open area or two booth spaces and things like that, yeah, you can display some other things easier. But and that's probably what I'm gonna have to go to this year, and previous or following years thereafter is a double booth spot. Um, yeah, yeah, and I'm hoping to come up that direction. You know, uh, come to some of the shows that Mister Patrick is putting on, because that would be cool. Table cover is most important of the wall. You can hand a big banner on. Well, the thing is, um, with all of my stuff, I'm doing canvas prints now, as well as 11 by 17 prints, which you're going to get in a couple days. You know, um, yeah, that would be cool to get him further down south from where he is. Um, but I understand, everybody's spread out all over the place. Um, but that's the thing. What you were talking about with what was it? What did you just say? The wall hanging. So I'm doing different things. So I'm going to have canvas prints and 11 by 17 prints. So the canvas prints, everything that is a canvas print will have an 11 by 17 print as well. So my space is going to have to change. Before I had every freaking drawing in the world imaginable that I ever did up on the board. So I had about 60 designs sitting behind me, if I had to be honest. And that's way too many. I need to pare it down. I need to get the best of the best, those type of things. It's just like the shirts. I want what people will buy in t-shirts. And the Joker that I've got, which I've worn on several lives, which is up on my over here on my Facebook right now. Um, it is going well. It's a big seller right now, and you know getting ready to do a Wonder Woman shirt. I'm getting ready to do the Crow shirt. All those ones that I just flashed you are all going to be brought into reality, and that way I can wear a different shirt on all of my lives that has my artwork on it instead of supporting other people. You know, of course I will always support the Dallas Cowboys 100%. Those type of things. um, I'm gonna come see you at a con in Texas. Can give me a spot to sleep in the chicken coop. Well, I'm in Arkansas, so I mean, yeah. If you come to one of the Arkansas shows, that would be cool. I have a spare bedroom here that right now is Mr. Bruiser's room. He's our potbelly pig. That's his bedroom all to himself, and I've got to get some things. Yeah, because I've been to a lot of Texas. Bastrop, Texas was one of my shows, 2024, and it was a sucky show, 100%. It was what was it, the Culture Con or something like that. I can't remember. It was a terrible show. I don't even think I broke even for that show, 100%. Yeah, yeah. He does, and then Bit sleeps in our bedroom, uh, down at the by the dressers. She's got her own little spot down there with two dog beds that she kind of knocks out of the way because it's a little hot right now, this time of year, and our air conditioner keeps freezing up in the bedroom. So you know, and but they're mostly outside during the day, and they sleep inside at night until we can get their accommodations made 100%. And it will happen. Just got to uh, keep plugging away because I've got to get this chicken coop made first, so then I can move some other materials around and get that done up properly for the geese and the ducks. So they will be separated from the rest of the chickens for the most part, um, because they'll have a big pond to splash around in and spend their day, enjoying some water. And yes, I'll definitely get there. It just takes time and money, and I'm running out of both. Oh man, but no, everything takes money, and it kind of sucks that we have to spend so much for certain things. It's just like the comic book booths, you know. Most of the ones that I go to, and I'm looking for 3 day shows is what I'm really looking for 2026. And and the thing is with it all is that most of your booths start at about $400, you know. And if I'm getting a double booth, then I'm talking about 750 to 800 bucks, out of pocket. And that's I have to make that up on sales at the show. And um, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But that's only covering the booth. That's not covering your food, your travel, your hotel room. That's why I'm trying to find me an RV, pull behind RV, or a mobile home that I can drive to the shows. That way, I'm not out money for a hotel room. Especially for a 2 or 3 day hotel room cost. Um, with the RV or something like that, then I've got a refrigerator in there that has the food in it, so I don't have to go out to eat per se, and those type things. You know, and it just all is expenses because say I do just a single booth at 400 bucks. Well, then I've got my travel, which you know, depending on where it is, you had to fill up twice or 4 times by the time you're heading home, and that could be, you know, in a bigger vehicle, you're talking 50, 60 bucks. My truck takes 60 bucks to fill it up. So there's, 120 times 2, after, because that's already 2 trips. So you're at 240 bucks on that end, um, for gas. So there's 540 bucks that you're already having to make up. And then your hotel room, which we get a good deal, so I'm not worried about the hotel room that much. But say it is a 3 day show, you're there for 2 nights, that's 100 bucks easy. So there's 640 bucks that you got to make up at the show. And then, any food that you eat or stuff that you purchase at the show, say that's another 150, 200 bucks, because meals cost pretty easy, you know. So you're already at almost 800 bucks in what you have to recoup already, just in expenses. So, won't have a fridge, but hold on, I gotta read that. Won't have a fridge, but you can put a cap on back of truck and then sleep in that. Yeah, the camper style. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, 100%. I mean, the camper sleepers are pretty awesome too. But you still got your storage boxes and stuff like that in the back of that truck. So that's why I'm looking for a pull behind type of a vehicle that can go with the truck, um, and that way, we can take and put it at a hotel at the back of their lot, and just go back to it, during the day or during the evening time after the show. So that's what we're really looking forward to is those type of situations, and to save money, all the way around. And and if I had a camper type of a situation, which they're all over marketplace, but you just got to find the right one. Um, the the looks of those, because you can keep your storage boxes in a certain area inside the RV, or pull behind or things like that, and free you up space in your truck or whatever. So because I have a huge box that goes with us, you know, and everything's going to change again. Like I said, once I get the new prints, it's going to turn into more totes and things of that nature as well, especially canvas prints. Because like I said, I will be making canvas prints just like I did for the Job 3 cover, that you're getting, that will be sent off today as soon as the post office opens around 9 o'clock, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what time they open here. I haven't checked. I usually go when I get around to it, which is like 10 o'clock, or sometimes after all the other chores are done. Those type things. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to you getting your stuff in hand. And if anything happens to any of it, let me know, and we will get you a replacement out there. I know you're trying to get it all prepared for your July 10th, and you should have it long before then. So that's what time it is here. I like to go close to closing, less of a line. Well, generally around here, especially, I've got two options close to me. I've got the Barling location and the Lavaca location, and usually neither one of those are ever full up with anybody there whenever I show up. So Yeah, I'm not too horribly worried about it. Now, if I was downtown at the Fort Smith location, yeah, I would be standing in a line because everybody seems to go there. And they've actually got two different locations in the Fort Smith area. Um, one downtown and one more centrally located. You know, it's probably about 9 miles from where I'm at right now. So, but yeah, I don't have any issues with the two smaller ones here, close to me. So those are the two I use. So 2 weeks and I'll be getting ready to head to the airport, making sure I have everything in existence to take with you. No, I know you're excited for these trips, and that's awesome. Um, and I get excited whenever I go to a show as well because how can you not? You know, you're going to meet some cool people. You're going to meet some cool artists because, especially, and that's the thing I hate, me personally. That's the one thing I hate about comic book conventions and things like that, and is that they do a specific artist alley, they do a specific vendor section. You know, if I were running one, I would have everybody intermingled. There would be no artist alley. There would be no vendor spot. It would all be intermingled together. You would have an artist next to a vendor, or two artists and two vendors on either side of them. You know, those type things. You know, everybody would be intermingled, and everybody would get a fair shake at people. You know, you saw my suitcase full of stuff to get signed. I think. Oh yeah, yeah. You have it. You have it posted out there. I'm also excited for the giveaway I'm doing there. See, that's awesome. And that's the cool thing about Cassie here is that she gives away more stuff, and I'm just reiterating what Patrick has told me. She does do a lot of giveaways. Whenever she goes to conventions and things like that, and not just conventions, but in general. She's a very cool person. You need to get to know her if you don't know her already. Uh, and so she's just one of those people that is a genuinely good person, and you don't find those on a regular basis. Most of the time, the world is angry, and hatred all over the place. You're not going to find that here. So that's how it was at Mad Monster. They did have the celebs around outside of the wall. Yeah, the celebrities need to be on the outside of the wall, but everybody else needs to be intermingled. I can't stand, and it drives me nuts that they separate the artist from everybody else, because a lot of times the artists get overlooked because people are like, oh no, I'm going to the vendors first, and see, that's the best. That's the Mad Monsters has it going on correctly. If I had the money, I would buy the old train building here in Fort Smith and turn it into a convention center for comic book conventions and any other conventions that wanted to be held in there. But it would have a comic book shop in it, a collectible shop in it, um, retro type stuff in it, those type things, and 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 then I would do like Mad Monsters there, uh, have a comic book convention, maybe even once a month, you know, and everybody would be intermingled together. You wouldn't have any of this artist alley. You wouldn't have any of this vendor spots. You would Everybody would be intermingled together and have to talk to each other. you know, and I know that's a strange thing because most of the shows that I've been to, I've only had that happen a handful of times. You know, where everybody's intermingled together. Uh, let's see. She said they had some artists and vendors outside of the room, but was mixed up too. Yeah, and see, certain spaces you have to do that, because you have all this room you want to take up, and you've got the hallways and stuff like that. So you get some people that get seen before everybody else because they're outside, and everybody sees them first, and then they come in to see everybody else, which is fine. But this building would accommodate everything. You could have a panel room for all the Q&A discussions. You could have an autograph room, a photography room, in this building. And if I had the money, I would snag that thing up. But I don't, because that's a multi-million-dollar building for sale, you know. And but you would make your money back in no time at all, because you could do flea markets in there every month. You could do um, pageants in there every month. You could do, build a stage in there and have music venues in there every month. I mean, or even once or twice a week. And you would make your money back in no time flat. But I'm not a multimillionaire. You know, you just need the money to start before you can make it back. Well, 100%. It's just like all the stuff that I'm trying to do for the rebuild year, which is what this year is, for my company for 412, because I haven't always been 412 Productions. Oh, thank you, TikTok, for your lovely little puzzle piece. I would not have gotten through my day without that puzzle piece showing up. Because it's rebuilding everything. And that's why all of my T-shirts have the little logo on them now. That's why I'm doing the stickers that go on my prints. Every print will have those stickers on them. And so I'm going to be ordering a lot more. And you know, I've debated on going back to the business cards, you know, as well, because people like the business cards. That I get asked that on a regular basis, and it's just like, no, just go here, and I pull up this, the dot card, and which didn't work for me last year at all. It kept sending them directly to a different spot, and it was just like, well, that's not where it's supposed to go. It's supposed to pull up every one of my social icons and stuff like that. And so I need to get back into my dot account and look some things over to see what the freak is going on with that. But I am honestly thinking about going back to business cards and having them on the table. Um, but it seems like more got destroyed than they did uh, handed out, in transit and things like that. But it is what it is, and you live and learn, and you try new things. And it's just like you know all of these little guys. This is some new stuff that I'm doing to have presence on the table. You know, my saw blades right here. I want to play a game right there. And you got Billy the puppet from Saw with I want to play a game on this base. You can put your, whatever on it. You can throw this on it. You can throw your keys on it. You can put your recording equipment on it. Whatever. It's sealed. It's no big deal. But this is going to be on my table next year. It just unless somebody buys it, and then I'll have to make some more. And then I've got Art the Clown, the art of art in blood down here. Not really, it's just paint, but it looks like he wrote it out in blood. And these are on actual saw blades. You know, real saw blades, real deal Holyfield. But my artwork goes on those, and I've got some more saw blades that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be doing some scream pieces and things like that. I got to get some more bases for sure, to make them more viable. Those are 150 on those pieces right there, and they're very awesome. And like I said, I will be doing some more horror pieces on saw blades because people like horror, and I know people love all kinds of different things, and I'm a horror fanatic, and I've got horror themed stuff all over my office. Um, and Cassie, most of this stuff back here was from the '90s, except for the James O'Barr piece right there, which is the Tiny Dancer, an original by James O'Barr that I bought off of eBay in the '90s. And then these are Ken Hunt's right here, awesome artist. The ex-wife actually bought those for a birthday present for me one year. But everything else you see over here was all free. Back in the '90s, whenever people used to uh, sign stuff without asking a price, you know, and they would just sign it, and they would draw little snippet things for you. Stephen Hughes, right here, Lady Death artist, no longer with us. Art Nichols on a Spider-Man piece right here behind the TV, no longer with us. Those type things. I mean, I've got a Marat Michaels, a Dan Fraga, people like that, and they're just awesome people, just like you are, and so from there, you know, those were free back in the day. They weren't asking for a price, to do something. You just ask them, hey, could you do a quick sketch for me? And they were like, sure. And boom, there it was. And here you go. And the price of the ticket was their price basically, because they were getting paid by the convention, by the show. And those are awesome. I wish I had stuff from the 90s. I was still a kid then. Yeah, I mean, this right here, I mean, this has 13 different autographs inside of it. Um, this was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and DEF CON 3, uh, September 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it actually landed on my birthday. I think I did go on my birthday, the 7th, September 7th of 1996. And just like I said, you know, all of these autographs I didn't have to pay a thing for. You know, the 13 different autographs in here by Kevin J. Anderson, Rebecca Moser, you know, right here, Kevin J. Moser down here. Um, David Wohl, Michael Turner, who's no longer with us. Kathy Christensen, who played Evangeline in the cosplay version. Lynn Wein, who's not in here, but I've got his autographs all over the place. Um, you know, Shannon Wheeler, Dan Fraga, Marat Michaels, like I just talked about right there, all autographed right here. You know, and then Susie Flaxen Owens, Nikki Fritz, aka Razor. I mean, good morning, Casey. How are you doing? JJ North, Tommy Gunn, and the list goes on and on. Rob Davis, Steve Irwin, Jordy Ensign, Michael Vance, R.A. Jones. I mean, 13 different autographs in this book. Didn't cost me a thing. So the admission price was the price, of their autographs, you know. And for a 3-day show, it wasn't bad. And so that's what I loved about the 90s, going to conventions back then, because only certain ones did you have to buy an extra ticket for to get autographs from, like James O'Barr. I'll tell you my story about that at Dallas Fantasy Fair. He was set up at a booth, and I just happened to be walking through. It was my very first convention to ever be at, and I was excited because I was ready to see Jim Lee, um, George Perez, Peter David. I mean, the list goes on and on of people that I was going to see that show for the 2 or 3 day show. I can't remember exactly how many days it was. But I see James O'Barr sitting there. I've got the Crow graphic novel in hand. And I see him sitting there and nobody's at his table. And I'm like, okay. So I walk up, put my book on the table. We chit chat. He signs it, and he flips through it a little bit. He keeps signing it. And we're talking back and forth. And he hands it back to me. I pick it up, thank him, and leave. And then pretty soon I get a arm on my shoulder. Boom. And the dude's like, hey, where's your ticket? And I'm like, what ticket? He's like, you got to have a ticket to be in line to get his autograph. And I'm like, and he points at a line behind me, because they had separated it out so far that you didn't even know there was a line there that started going down Artist Alley, And so I was like, oh, I'm sorry. And I look at all these angry faces because they're like, well, he just cut a line. Well, why did I buy a ticket then? And it's just like, oh, well, thank you for the gift that you just sent. That's awesome. Um, and um, it was just like, I'm sorry, this is my first show. I didn't know I needed a ticket. No one ever told me that at the door or anything like that. So, that was a lesson learned, but it was still quite humorous, because I actually laughed about it as I was walking away, putting my signed graphic novel into my bag, and I did have a convention box that I took with me to all the conventions as well, and it was quite fun. Um, and that box has been signed by Stan Lee, Stephen Hughes, Michael Turner, a lot of people that aren't with us anymore, and I still have it. I have tried selling it a couple times, but no takers. You know, and but I figure at this point in time, might as well keep it. You know, and it obviously didn't sell for a reason. You know, and it was a nice big metal box that just fit comic books on the inside, and and it kept them protected. You know, and then you get all the autographs you wanted, and still put more autographs on the box if I want to, because it's still got plenty of room. So it was meant for you to keep. Yeah, 100%. And that's what everybody has said. Well, I can't believe you're trying to sell this. And well, obviously it didn't sell, so it's still in my possession. So, and I appreciate the likes and the love out there from everybody. Uh, Casey, I hope you are doing good, man. And I realize that picture wasn't you, but still, it's a very thoughtful looking picture that you had out there. And it's one of those that you're looking at the glimpses of the future, and what the future holds for you out there. And I hope you get to see the future for a long period of time, just like me. I hope I get to see the future. As the stuff that I'm building here, and I look forward to all the stuff that I'm going to get done. It's going to take time, like I said before, but all in all, it will get done, and the chickens will have a good place to live. So there is that. But no, but life is worth living, and you got to take the good with the bad, just like I am right now. I got a lot of bad stuff going on, but I'll get through it, and it's one little thing at a time. You know, got to keep your chickens happy so they give you lots of eggs. They have 100%. You know, but I've also got to keep my dog and my pig away from the eggs that are lower level spots. But my puppy likes to venture into the chicken coop and into the actual coop itself instead of just the run, and devour my eggs. So that's going to be the biggest kicker of keeping you know him out of it all uh, when it's all said and done. So, but yes, they definitely do, because I've caught the pig, the little pig Bruiser, another rescue case, eating up my little eggs of my ducks and things like that he's found. You know, um, and it's just like, damn it, not again. And then of course Dexter, uh, he loves them too. So I'll find him wandering with an egg in his mouth, and I'll say, drop it, and he'll put it down and move away from it, and then try to go back to it. I'm like, don't do it. And so yeah, it's becoming a chore to keep my eggs in house, to say the least. But it's a fun hobby. It's a lifestyle. It's not a hobby. So doing homesteading is not for everybody. It is not easy by any means. You don't just throw your birds out there and hope for the best. You know, they've got to have protection. They've got to have coverage at night. They've got to have food. They've got to have mine free range during the day, so they get fed at night before they go to bed. So Dexter is like a kid with stealing them. Oh yeah, 100%. He'll find them wherever they lay them, because they lay them all over the place. It's like an Easter egg hunt. 100%, because you never know where they're gonna lay. Because some will lay in the nesting boxes, and then others will lay in another dark spot where we used to have goats, and and Bruiser likes to sleep in there too. But it's always an adventure trying to find where the eggs are going to be at. You know, and we find them, but I'm waiting for this day that I'm going to find a whole stash of them. In just one spot. So just because they didn't lay where they were supposed to lay. Got to train him to find and yeah, 100%. That would be great. But no, he wants to eat them. Luckily, he doesn't try to eat the birds. I mean, he has tried to snip at a couple of birds before, but he's still a puppy, so we're thinking it's more play than it is aggression towards the birds. Now, our other dog, the rescued red-nosed pit, she has injured one of our birds before. Um, and now both dogs have injured one of our injured birds before, and they killed it. So, we've got to we still keep an eye on them whenever they're out with the flock, just because we know the red nosed pit. That's how she survived, was on animals, out in the wild whenever she was out on her own for a long period of time. So we still have to watch them both. And other than that, we don't have much to worry about when it comes to other animals. So, yeah, that's good. He's just taking food from you, eating the eggs, not hurting the birds. Yeah, I mean, like I said, he has tried to snip at a few, and so there is that, you know. But like I said, they did kill one of our birds before, and both him and our other one, the red nosed pit. So we still got to watch them. They still the Phoenix still stalks our birds, you know. So we have to get onto her quite often. So, but speaking of which, I've got to go take care of the birds. I got to let them out to free range for the day. But other than that, guys, I appreciate each and everybody being here. I appreciate the likes, the love, and the gifts that were given today on the live. That's very awesome of you guys, and I do appreciate each and everybody being here. I again the support, the sharing, the liking, the commenting, and the you know, just the overall interaction with you guys is awesome. So I do appreciate it, and as I like to say as I leave you guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for being here for us to see ya. See you, man. Have a good day.